Hey guys, this weekend played in an ITS Infinity Tournament System event this weekend in Auckland, New Zealand. 8 players entered, 3 rounds, 1 eventual winner. Running my Imperial service as usual. Please look at the video description and click on the link that takes you to the Infinity forums where you will see a write-up of the event and, more importantly, the lists that I'm using and the lists that my opponents are using. So just going to dive straight into it. The first mission is firefight. So you've got the 3 panoplies, increased deployment zones, bonuses to drop troopers, and other than that, mainly just trying to kill more models than your opponent. It is possible to win without doing that, without killing more points than your opponent, but you have to somehow get classifieds and more stuff from the panoplies in the middle, maybe take up more specialists and lieutenants. Okay, so this is a picture of my right-hand flank where I'm using the Guangxi in a link team with just the controller in group 2, and I'm actually leaving my normal Celestial Guard group unlinked because I can swap it over to them with a command token. This is a tactic that I've been using more and more lately. You can see a Pangolin baggage spot to the bottom right. It's actually disguised. It's a holo projector level 1 Luduan. Idea there being that if he brings his Garuda or Akali or whatever in from the side, I'll be able to flamethrower him. Sujian in the center, right behind that spaceship. This space station terrain is all hand built out of cardboard and pen ink. It has been designed in such a way that the square platform tiers are exactly silhouette 2, so if you're standing next to one you have to climb to get over it unless you've got climbing plus, and it does block line of sight to something on the other side of it. On the left hand flank, you can see on the left hand side I've got a 5-man Celestial Guard link team. Sometimes you'll see an irregular order next to them. That's just because I've run out of prone markers, so if you see a regular token next to the guy, it's actually prone. I've got a sensor bot at the bottom there and a Rui Shui tucked behind the corner. Now my opponent on his left flank, he's got a Bulleteer and a couple of Flash Pulse bots and an Engineer, Crackheart Renegade, Fusilier Paramedic, there's a Hacker towards the center, and on the other side he's got a Seraph, as well as a, not a Hexer, a Nis HMG Gunner. There he's also got a not a Fusilier, Auxiliar link team, not a link team, a Auxiliar team. So running the big tag for this list. A bit of a close-up on him there with, what does his sword say? Voluntas Dei. My first order of the game brings on this Garuda, which I am borrowing from a friend of mine who plays Aleph. I don't actually own a Garuda. Note that the paramedic and the Crackot are facing the wrong way, and that prone marker you can see in the picture is attached to just a normal Fusilier. Actually happens to be the lieutenant. Unfortunately, the Garuda can't climb up and shoot it because he'd get shot himself if he did that. So I had to content myself with just ripping into the paramedic and Crackot, which the Garuda did very easily. After killing both of them, he moves forward to engage the Bulleteer, but unfortunately the shootout with the Bulleteer, not so fruitful, difficult to get past the ODD, and it brings me within range of hacking. And remember, the Garuda is a remote, so this did eventually get me immobilized for my trouble. What I did instead is I switched the orders over to the Sujian, who's in the other group. Sujian moving through against the Garuda, sorry, not the Garuda, the Bulleteer. Now, this was within 24 inches, and the Bulleteer has cover, so Ballistic skill 14 for the Sujian, plus 3 for range, minus 3 for cover, ends up with 14, minus 6 for ODD, it's 8s. The Bulleteer shooting back, plus minus for range and cover, needing 12. So 4 dice on 12s versus 1 dice, so 4 dice on 8s versus 1 dice on 12s, managing to shoot him up there pretty handily. So next image you can see the Sujian, Def Leopard I like to call him, turning into cat mode and just racing across the battlefield, ignoring quite a lot of arrows here, actually ducking under them because the cat's quite low to the ground. So because these platforms aren't low enough, the Sujian manages to get across there. So eventually achieving its mission of taking out the Engineer. Takes a couple of orders but manages to kill him, and that's very, very important because you don't want the Engineer just reviving the Bulleteer and having it go on a rampage, because this is a mission in which killing stuff is super important, and if your opponent is reviving things, that is really bad for your points total. So now he gets to react in his turn. You can see the Seraph moving out and having a long shot over here against my guys. What is not pictured, if you look at the in the far foreground at the bottom of the image, there's a wall. Just to the other side of that wall, nearby to the other Celestial Guard, which are prone, there's a Celestial Guard hacker. And because the Seraph is able to super jump, moving him way up into the air, he's actually able to see on top of the platform where I've got a prone guy and actually shoots him. So that was kind of annoying. Then he just rolls out and comes further forward, closer to this little satellite dish area here, so nothing I can do about that. I haven't actually left any arrows out, and I can't hack him as he comes closer because my hacker is now eliminated. So what this does allow him to do here is move through with his little orc spot friend and actually jump so he can see over the wall. This is meant to be a space station battlefield, but they're just like walls which don't have roofs over them, which makes it kind of weird and doesn't really feel much like a space station. So the Ruishri luckily does actually manage to shoot at the orc spot and destroy it, but the Seraph easily able to rip into the Ruishri from behind there. And after that, same fate for the sensor bot, although the sensor bot is in suppression fire here, so the first shootout I do manage to score a wound on him, and then the second order he does manage to kill me and finish that off, so looking pretty good for the Seraph. And then we've got the NIS HMG moving out onto the stairway. He's doing this because it will give him the opportunity to ARO long range against the Sujian, which has a shorter range gun. Speaking of the Sujian, on my turn 2, I've already taken one wound, so I'm now trying to head back to my deployment zone. In fact, my plan this turn was to actually have a firefight with the Seraph, because I've got a Panzerfaust and I could shoot the Seraph from the back, which would have given me a great chance of destroying him. What happens though, as he runs up the stairs, gets shot by the NIS with HMG and who scores a crit on 1 dice, taking me down to like no wound incapacitation, and the Flash Pulse bot hits me with a Flash Pulse and blinds me. So that plan for the turn down the drain. Can't actually hit the Seraph in the rear with the Panzerfaust after all, and I've only got 1 wound left, so I really don't want to lose this model. Such an expensive model in a firefight annihilation mission essentially, so just heading back to base. What I decide to do instead, plan B, moving to the door with the Celestial Guard smoke grenade launcher and then pulling back, putting down a smoke template right next to the Sujian. He decides not to dodge because otherwise he'd lose suppression fire. This allows me to move out with the Ninja, which I had hidden deployed next to the panoply. Ninja raids the panoply, picks up 2 items. One of them is a flash pulse, not particularly useful, and the second item, optical disruption device, already has TO camo, so not really useful, they don't stack. So what she does is he eventually moves through the smoke and hits the Seraph, and what I'd done to preempt this is actually move in with the Guangxi first. The trick you can pull here is that the Guangxi moves into the smoke, forces a change face arrow from the Seraph if it wants to, and then the second short skill into close combat, so it's a safe way of getting into close combat without getting hit, so that the Ninja can move in here with 2 dice. Now with surprise attack, subtracting him from -9, the Ninja hits twice, 1 with a crit, 1 with an ordinary hit, so 3 saves from the Seraph, fails 2 of them, and that's lights out, so the Seraph dead. And after that, the Ninja retreats behind the staircase. Ninja's 29-point model, so I just want to keep it alive for this very, very sensitive mission for points. Then after that, you can't see it too well in this image, but my opponent has moved up in his second turn with this the sensor bot, and there's a little staircase and an image in the background where he's shooting across here. Hits the Guangxi. Guangxi passes the save and dodges prone, so survives there with that one intact. And then further over here, I have responded in my turn with the Celestial Guard sniper, getting a position here to shoot that other Orc SWAT towards the center of the table next to the panoplies, belonging to the Auxilia team, so getting rid of that one as well. And because he's set up a position with his sensor bot, the Garuda now moves up into the doorway, opens the doorway, can see past that little stash of pipes there, and actually shoots him in the rear with the combi rifle. So successful way of removing the sensor bot. So looking good. Next photo will actually show you where the Sujian has ended. He's standing next to the HVT at the bottom of this photo and prone and in suppression fire, so very afraid of Fusiliers coming in and taking him out. But Sujian in suppression fire, a pretty strong target, and with armor 5, hopefully I don't lose that last wound. Over here, so he's trying to move out with our Auxilia team, but yeah, not really anything happening that's interesting there. Further over here is Lieutenant. This is the last turn of the game for him. Moving out here and attacking the Garuda. After 2 face-to-face rolls, still doesn't destroy the Garuda. So how about that? And then towards the center of the table, he's got the Hacker with Combi Rifle here, going after the Panoplies. A very nice looking rocket deposit here for objectives. Also goes for the Panoplies on the other side here with his other Auxilia dude, and I think doesn't quite manage to get anything out of it. Fails the whip check. And lastly, we've also got a guy going after the Sujian. So he actually sent 2 models after it in the end, but both of them failed to kill the Sujian because of his stronger ballistic skill in the ranged shootout there. So looking pretty good. Ended up being a convincing win to me. My opponent probably could have done a little bit better with his Seraph, in my opinion, either by pulling him back or taking out my Lieutenant, and that would have made the game much harder. Having said that, though, losing the Sujian was not losing the Sujian, but getting blinded by the flash pulse was a bit unfortunate, because that was not likely to happen, and I might not have had to resort to the ninja, although the ninja did very, very well. Anyway, got 2 more games coming up for you guys, so stick around.